Hey, everybody, welcome. I'm Natalie, and this is Scientology Life After a Cult. And we're about to get into something super culty and share another way that Scientology is trying to harass its victims. Yes, they have done it again. We're going to get into a story involving Brian Kent. Some of you might be familiar with this story and what happened earlier. If you don't know, don't worry, because I'm going to lay it out for you and share the most recent news with you of what is happening. Thank you, moderators, for being here and for being here last minute. If I didn't jump on and do this now, I don't think I was going to be able to get to it today. So thank you for being here. Hello to everybody in the live chat. And if you're catching it on the replay, thank you for being here. Please be sure to hit that like and check your subscribe. All right, let's jump into this and let's talk about, first of all, who Brian Kent is. Brian Kent is an attorney. Let's see. I'm going to show you a clip and we're going to look at an article, but basically he was representing multiple former Scientologists in cases against Scientology, or I should say that was the idea. He was supposed to be. That's what he was supposed to be doing. There were multiple people, some of who were involved in Scientology Aftermath, the show, who were referred to Brian Kent as an attorney to work on their cases against Scientology. But all did not go as planned. There wasn't really anything that was done. Instead, what ended up happening, you guys might remember this, Down the Rabbit Hole News shared a story. She shared a complaint that was filed against attorney Brian Kent, who at the time was on the board of directors for Child USA. Of course, when this all came out, dude had to step down from Child USA, even from his own law office. So Brian Kent, the issue when he was supposed to be representing these different former members of Scientology in their lawsuits against Scientology, in the complaint that was filed, the Jane Doe in the complaint alleged that she had sexual activity with Brian Kent while she was a client of his, and he actually wasn't doing anything on her case, despite her trying to follow up and even do some of the work herself. Let's look at a clip. Let's look at this clip right now, actually, from Down the Rabbit Hole News when this came out. I remember when this came out. Put a one in the chat if you guys remember when this whole Brian Kent story came out and Rabbit covered it. We're just going to look at a little bit of from a video that she did. I'll link it down below. So if you want to see the whole thing, you can go ahead and watch that later.
So it says, to the disciplinary board, our firm has represented Jane Doe, a plaintiff in Baxter versus Miscavige, since February 23rd of 2021 in litigation against the Church of Scientology. During our representation, we became aware of conduct by Jane Doe's previous attorney, Brian Kent, which merits the Office of Disciplinary Counsel's attention. Mr. Kent began representing Jane Doe in a similar matter in spring of 2019 and ended his representation in January of 2021. During that time, Mr. Kent engaged in behavior constituting violations of rules of professional conduct, and they list all the rules number there, which includes engaging in non-pre-existing sexual relations with a client. We therefore request that the disciplinary counsel investigate Mr. Kent's actions as Jane Doe's counsel.
So you guys, many of you, I think, remember when that came out, when that complaint came out and Rabbit shared that, and then the news came out, and then disgraced attorney Brian Kent stepped down from Child USA, and he stepped down from his law firm. Now we got to kind of put together a few pieces here. He represented the woman who made the complaint against him, represented for 2 years. And like I said before, it's like nothing was actually done on it. He gave her the impression that he was going to represent her and work was going to be done on her case. And it seems instead he started an inappropriate sexual relationship with her and really didn't do anything. And it would appear that he was using her and leading her on in that way and wasted 2 years of potential litigation and time. Now, it looked like he didn't have any intention of actually following through with that. So since he stepped down, there's a different case, which is mentioned, that I'm sure you guys are familiar with, that we're going to look at because it is all tied together. This is the case that he's now going to be deposed in. So, dude steps down and all that, right? But these investigations are still going on, and these other suits against Scientology are still happening. So in this one particular lawsuit here, and this is the one that he's being deposed in. This is from the Tampa Bay Times. We're just going to review this quick. Scientology sued by worker who says she was forced to marry abuser after Church of Scientology officials learned in 1991 that a 16-year-old religious worker, Sea Org member, claimed to have been essayed. They failed to report the allegations to police. I know that might shock many of you, probably not. They didn't report it. No, they did not. What did they do instead, you ask? Well, according to a lawsuit unsealed last week in Los Angeles Superior Court. Now, this article is from 2023. The complaint against Scientology leader David Miscavige, recruiter Gavin Potter, and 3 church entities alleges that the organization created a culture where SA was enabled by policies written by founder L. Ron Hubbard. The lawsuit maintains that Scientologists are prohibited from reporting crimes to police committed by fellow members. We know this is true. It is Scientology policy. It is a suppressive act to report a Scientologist for crimes to authorities. It also alleges that minors are especially susceptible to SA in Scientology, which views them as adults in little bodies of children, adults in the bodies of children. Hubbard taught that each person is an immortal being who has lived many lifetimes over billions of years. You guys are familiar with that. The lawsuit was filed on behalf of a woman identified as Jane Doe, who said Scientology officials facilitated Potter's SA after he convinced her as a teenager to remain Scientology's full-time workforce, to basically stay in the Sea Org. And today she's in her late 40s. In a statement to the Tampa Bay Times, William Foreman, an attorney representing Scientology, called the lawsuit a con job and an attempted shakedown. Of course, they're going to say that, right? What are they going to actually say? Oh, that's totally what happened. Yeah, no, our bad. No, they're going to say it's a con job and an attempted shakedown. The church has no policy prohibiting or discouraging members from reporting criminal conduct of anyone, Scientologists or not, to law enforcement, Foreman said. Oh my gosh, I feel like everybody here right now know that's total BS. In their own doctrine, in their own An Introduction to Scientology Ethics, in their own L. Ron Hubbard policies, it says this. No, you can't be reporting Scientologists to the authorities. You have to handle it all internally. You guys know this. We know it. Everybody knows it. The court's even going to knows this. And it actually goes on to even point that out. However, in a 1968 book called Introduction to Scientology Ethics, Hubbard wrote that reporting Scientologists to civil authorities constituted a high crime. Mike Rinder, a former Scientology executive who defected in 2007, previously explained that Scientologists are required to follow Hubbard's words literally. Though Scientology claims it has no policy against reporting crimes, these words from Hubbard make it clear it is exactly what they demand from their members, Rinder wrote in a 2022 blog post. The plaintiff in an unsealed lawsuit is one of the women who sued Scientology and Miscavige in 2019 on claims that church officials stalked and harassed them after reporting to Los Angeles police they had been AR'd by actor and Scientology parishioner Danny Masterson. Anyways, that we know how that ended. Dude is in jail now. So Doe's lawsuit, which was filed in December, again, this was 2023, but remained sealed until last week, alleges negligence, child essay, and fraud. So this is the lawsuit. This is the one that he is going to be deposed in. You know, I keep wanting to say disposed. In fact, even when I wrote it, I wrote disposed. I'm like, no, deposed. This is the one that he's going to be deposed in. Thank you, Joe Buchanan, and all of you too. Yeah, I did cut my hair. I'm glad you guys like it. Thank you so much. Thank you. So what does this have to do? Like, how does this all go together? So you got Brian Kent over here, right, who is representing the person who made the complaint about him, about their inappropriate relationship. He also previously was involved in the case with the Jane Doe and the Gavin Potter case, has a suit for harassment against Scientology, David Miscavige Religious Technology Center, and has this other case. Well, Brian Kent was involved in the first one, the harassment case that's still ongoing, and then he wasn't involved in it. So basically, Scientology now is saying, well, wait a minute, Brian Kent, in the complaint against him, it says that he told his victim to delete text messages, which they're seeing as constituting as deleting evidence. So the questions being raised, Scientology's being like, well, what if he told other people to delete evidence in this case? So take a look at this. This is what just came out. This says Church of Scientology set to depose Philadelphia attorney in SA case. Brian Kent, the founder of Philadelphia plaintiff's firm Laffey Bucci Kent, previously represented several plaintiffs suing the Church of Scientology and several affiliates over allegations of SA before being abruptly terminated from the firm in April 2024. What you need to know: the Church of Scientology is looking to depose Laffey Bucci and Kent founder Brian Kent, who was terminated from the firm in 2024 as part of an SA case in California. In a Thursday hearing, the judge in the case denied the plaintiff's motion for reconsideration that will allow the church to go through with deposing Kent and the case's anonymous plaintiff. So really what this is about, we're going to read some more of this, but basically this is about just another way that Scientology is harassing the victims of Scientology, including the Jane Doe in the lawsuit. It's ridiculous. It's such a stretch. But basically, the judge was like, you know, what's up? It's not going to take any time at all. It's probably not a big deal. Just do it. Let's just do it. Just do it. You know, give Scientology their way on this one. Kraken, thank you so much for the super sticker. Please check your emailing post stream. Emailing post stream? With what I'm talking about now, I will look at that. I will look at that. But thank you for that, Kraken. I appreciate you. So the wicked web that is being woven here is insane. But let's see. Let's look at more of this. The Church of Scientology on Thursday gained a win in its fight to depose Brian Kent, the founder of, blah, 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 who previously represented several plaintiffs suing the organization and several affiliates over allegations of SA before being abruptly terminated in April 2024. The underlying litigation, originally filed in California Superior Court in Los Angeles in 2022 by attorneys at Motley Rice and Edwards Pointing, accuses the Church of Scientology, Bridge Publications, David Miscavige, Gavin Potter, and the Religious Technology Center of negligence, SA, sexual battery, negligent supervision, negligent employment, intentional infliction of emotional distress, fraud, and public nuisance. Before exiting his firm, Kent was known for filing similar cases and representing SA victims, including in cases against comedian Bill Cosby and Penn State University football assistant coach Jerry Sandusky. In the most recent court filings in the Los Angeles case, the Church of Scientology is seeking to depose Kent and the case's anonymous plaintiff under the belief that Kent allegedly instructed the plaintiff, whom he represented in a separate case against Scientology, to delete digital communications between the two of them. That belief is based on an alleged disciplinary complaint filed against Kent in Pennsylvania, the court documents say. Kent was never involved in the plaintiff's representation in the Los Angeles case. According to court records in the Los Angeles case, Judge Kevin Brazil, who is overseeing the case, overruled the plaintiff's motion for reconsideration following a Thursday hearing, allowing the depositions of Kent and the plaintiff to go through, barring any further difficulties. The Church of Scientology originally filed its motion for discovery in July, alleging that the anonymous plaintiff in the case, who has a second suit filed against the church, filed contradictory claims in the two suits. In the case in which Kent represented the plaintiff, the motion claims the plaintiff claimed they could not remember signing an arbitration agreement when the church in the LA suit, it continues, the plaintiff testified to specific circumstances causing them to sign the same arbitration agreement. The other defendants in the LA case then offered declarations in support of the church's motion. Ultimately, I can't say church anymore, y'all. I got switched to cult. It says church. Okay. This document, every time I say cult, it says church. I just can't do it anymore. Let's see. Ultimately, the cult claims that Kent may have played a role in the plaintiff's inconsistent testimony between the two complaints and is looking to use Kent's and the plaintiff's depositions to support the defense's claim the case belongs in arbitration. So this whole thing, like there's more details in there. I'm going to link it. But I think you're getting the picture here. This is purely being done by Scientology to further harass and create delays in this lawsuit that Jane Doe has against Scientology, David Miscavige, Gavin Potter, from when she was 16, what happened in 1991. And because this completely unrelated situation with Brian Kent, Scientology is trying to claim, well, he might have told the plaintiff here and to delete evidence back when. So we want to depose him and get the information and do our thing. And they are being allowed to do it. When this came out, oh my gosh, when was it, you guys? This is what this was being floated as something that Scientology would probably try to do. And they did. And they are. So we'll have to see what happens with this. Again, it's just another way for them to harass. Nisa, thank you for becoming a member of the channel. Hip, hip, hooray, and mahalo to you. I appreciate that. Let's see. Andrew, what I cannot fathom is the whole not letting people know about the 1-year time frame thing. Even I knew this on the other side of the country, completely uninvolved in this movement at the time. Yet somehow the lawyers and exes didn't know. Yes, you're talking about that 2-year window that was open and where some of these cases could have gone forward. Exactly. And that's the infuriating thing here. And I don't know. So I'm sitting here from where I sit. I'm looking at it going, okay, Brian Kent had to have known about the 2-year window because that's something that Child USA worked on. They worked on it. They talked about it. How did the victims not know, or his clients know, or anybody else about this? And why wasn't that taken advantage of? Instead, allegedly, dudes running around having an inappropriate relationship with one of the victims of Scientology, who he is supposed to be representing in this case about SA, while having this inappropriate relationship. If you go back and you watch Rabbit's video that she did on Down the Rabbit Hole News, she gets into the details too of what that was like for his victim and the level of trust that was broken. And now this is being used this way. Hey, Fat Grammy. Thank you, Natalie, for further information on this. Yeah, I appreciate you being here. Hello. Let's see. And thank you, Scientology Up North. Yeah, I've never cut it this short before, but so far, so good. I feel like it's working. It's going to help with growing out my hair more. I'm catching up on your comments here. Shauna B made alive. Nice. That's fantastic. Andrew, sad day when Scientology makes a solid point. I don't know which point exactly, but I mean, this is dumb. It's so dumb. It's so dumb. Paula, earlier I almost said, are we not going to mention this fabulous haircut? Well, we did talk about it too on the recap this morning, which if you guys didn't catch the recap this morning, check it out. We got all into the ways the internet and people on social media are exposing Scientology and how they're trying to exploit the situation with the LA fires. Greggy, I'm glad you're here and you're going to catch up on the replay. I saw a question there and I missed it. Let's see. I should have been grabbing these earlier. Dang it, it was a good question. I don't remember what it was though, and I don't see it there at a glance. So this is something that we're going to continue to learn more about, and it also shows you once again that Scientology will not, there's no length that they won't go to try to harass their victims and drag these things out rather than, face their consequence and the truth. I'm going to link the article of the lawsuit that he's going to be deposed in below, and Rabbit's video, because if you're not familiar with a lot of this, you can get that information there as well. And I did see a comment about talking about what's happening in LA. We did talk about that earlier on the recap. Scientology up north, I heard they were stealing food and other resources. Yes. They were. There are multiple videos. Like I said, if you go watch my recap this morning, I've got multiple clips, including showing how Scientology is getting their volunteer ministers to go walk in front of as many cameras as they possibly can. Yep, antics of a mama squirrel. That's disgusting. I agree. Andrew, so sad these people are getting victimized over and over again when they try to get justice. One day all this shall end. Can't come soon enough. Exactly. That is the heartbreaking thing for me in this, right? When I look at this and I'm like, wow, the Jane Doe in the complaint against Brian Kent, who had the inappropriate relationship with him that he had with her. That's one thing. She's already a victim of Scientology. She's already trying to seek justice and then gets like abused all over again in this situation. And now it's just giving Scientology fodder in a whole nother way. It's all very sus, Why he dragged his feet and didn't move these cases forward, especially during that look back window, I don't know. I think that's a great question. Somebody should be asking him, truly. Marlene, I will let her know. She will love that and appreciate it. Please let your hairstylist know how much we love your new hairstyle. Let's just hope I can keep doing it, but I think I can. I feel like I need more tools. I was thinking of getting one of those brush hair dryers because it's just one thing to hold instead of two. We'll see. Otherwise, I'll just wear a hat. But thank you. Thank you so much for that. Arkansas Flamingo, so sad for the victims who could have closure, and so infuriating that the lawyers and the board did nothing to inform said victims. A lot of questions there. There's absolutely a lot of questions around that. Paula is saying, on one hand, I feel bad for them because they have so little. It makes sense they would grab a few things. Oh, you're talking about Scientology and the taking the items, the disaster relief items. On the other hand, I hope the cult gets so mad at them that they leave the cult. Indeed. Thank you, Antics of a Mama Squirrel. Molly, hey there. Hey, girl, hey. You made another live. You might have to catch up on replay if you just got here, but thank you so much for being here. Yep, Dr. MLS probably will work with a hat. I got to try it. All right, you guys, please hit that like, please hit that subscribe. I'm going to go link those videos down below now so you guys can check them out. In the meantime, everybody, I hope you have an amazing cult-free day.